Welcome to TIO Stadium. You're watching AFL&T's coverage of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season here. It's round 14 action between Waratah and Palmerston Magpies. I'm Will Zwar and with me is Damien Hale. Ordinarily, Damien, you'd probably look at this and think it's an easy win for Waratah, but we're coming out of that Christmas break and nothing's certain in these COVID times, so it's a bit more of an interesting clash than we first might have thought.
Yeah, it is, Will, and g'day to all the viewers around Australia, and obviously we haven't had the COVID have the impact on our football league as you guys down south have had over the last couple of years. So talking to people that I know down in the Murray League and the Central Murray and those leagues that have been affected by COVID in the last 2 years, we certainly understand now the impacts of it. And you know, as you say, Will, look, I'm really, thinking coming here today that Waratahs would have to be favourites. They're second on the ladder. They're travelling along nicely. But, Palmerston have snuck Matty Dennis in, a fantastic player for over a decade up here. And Eddie Betts is back, and one of the Jetta boys is having a run as well. So in Neville. So, Palmerston are unpredictable. So I think it's a lot closer this game. And it seems like the weather might stay away for a little while so we could get some good footy, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, on Tars line up there without both their captains, I think for the second week in a row, so a couple of outs for them. They've also only got one of the Collis brothers, but they have got a few handy players in A-Bankers. Obviously, we all know about his credentials on the footy field, and they've got Shem Tutupu, who I'm pretty interested to see what he can do. He was listed with Hawthorn. I think he's originally a Kiwi, so yeah, very handy player.
Sides may have to, clubs up here may have to go for some reinforcements from down south, and I think the qualifying's now 5 games, and that may have to be something the league looks at to reduce it because we could run out of players, Will. Yeah,
absolutely. It'd be interesting to see how the rest of the season pans out for the clubs and just how they field teams each week, but we're about to get underway here, and it's Matty Dennis, who's been one of the best players in the NTFL up here for a couple of years, playing his first game in season 21-22. He'll be facing off in the ruck. Let's see what he can do. And it's the Tars ruckman who gets the first hit out for the day. And it's a pretty hot footy early. Eddie Betts up in it early as well. Hasn't taken possession, but he's lively and he's around the ball. Umpire will call for a ball up.
Yeah, they've been playing Eddie a lot through the midfield, Palmerston, and he's been doing very well for them there.
Thomas Goodwin, 2 hit-outs for Waratah, certainly making his presence felt in that ruck. And it's Alwyn Davey with the ball now, playing on half-back. He kicks it out to the run of his Palmerston teammate. Goes inside 50, and Palmerston have got the run on early. Now with Morgan Morris trying to work it forward, but it comes out now with Collis for Waratah. Comes out of half-back. Finds a player in a bit of space on the wing. He looks inboard, not a lot to go to. Doubts himself and hands over the top. Now it comes back to Crocker. Crocker finds another player further on the wing. Haven't really moved it forward yet, but now Munro has the opportunity to do so. Runs through the centre of the ground, kicks it forward. And gee, there's a big fella up there in Tutupu.
There's some real courage there by Ugle. I think it was the 16th at Palmerston, going back into the path of the guy that could be described as Plugger Locker. He's a big boy, the Waratah's full forward, so he dropped into that hole there, and he certainly copped one. I like to see Dylan Collis playing off half-back. I think number 4 for Tars. He's been a very good player early in the year across the wing, and now they've moved him into the back line, and he sets a lot of play up for them.
He's got that silver peroxide hair as well, so you can't miss him.
It should be worth a few votes. There he is, just laying a tackle.
Morgan Morris run down by Collis there, and he looks to move it forward, gets it to one of the Stevens boys, now to Magro, who's sporting a pretty clean head of hair without his mullet. And that Plugger takes a mark for Waratah.
I bet you he's never been called Plugger before. The 36.
So it's Shem Tutupu.
He's a big lad, isn't he? And it's probably something they've been lacking, having someone at the end of the funnel who they can use as a big target. And he's kicked his first goal. He's a big unit.
Was pretty nervy, but he's squeezed it through there.
And Dylan Collis put the tackle on, used the ball well. I thought if there was one criticism with Waratahs early in the year, I thought they just lacked a little bit of pace across their back line. They were all pretty honest. and they don't have big scores kicked against them, but I thought they really could do with a running type player off half-back, similar to what Timmy Mosquito played for them for a long time. And Dylan Collis has given them that player. You know, they've got guys like Gooch and Crocker, and these guys are honest toilers, and they're good defenders. They're all arm across, closing the space type defenders. And to have Collis back there, I think just adds a little dimension to them that they didn't have prior to the Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. They have had a pretty solid half-back line, but they were all pretty, as you say, reliable. But there's not a lot of X factor, and he sort of does bring that X factor.
Yeah, he does.
So umpire will ball it up again. It's young Ennis Stark in the middle there, so he's had a great season in the lime green for the umpires. Obviously, an under-16s, under-18s play for St Mary's as well. But doing very well up here in territory footy. Waratah has the ball in their forward line. And it's a shot, not quite on goal, but to Plugger again. He's nearly taken his second mark. He works it forward though, gets it to the advantage.
Good second effort there from the big boy.
And he's it's Arnold, Cameron Arnold, who's kicked Waratah's second goal in a couple of minutes from the deck of the goal square.
Yeah, Tar's just getting the ball out of the middle, Will, and it makes all the difference in footy. You win that ball out, win the ball out of the middle, and it's been a good effort there. The big fella in the ruck. Yeah,
I don't mind that either. Obviously, a lot of people would have been looking at Matty Dennis coming in and, almost dominating straight away. But another area that Tar's been lacking this year has been the ruck stocks, and Goodwin's come in, and I think he's won almost all of the hit-outs so far. So, definitely making his presence felt. So here we go again. Dennis gets that one to Betts. Pretty champagne that. Kicks it into the forward line. Good fist in there from the Tars defender. Collis now tries to get a ball away. Cooper kicks it towards goal.
Justin Cooper.
It's gone.
He knows
through.
where they are. It's a nice little snap there. And yeah, it was a great tap from Matty Dennis straight out of the middle. Eddie Betts. Champagne, as you said. Perfect timing out of that ruck contest and get the ball forward quickly. Put the back line under pressure for Tars, and Justin Cooper bobs up and kicks their first goal.
And probably the sort of goal they'd want as well. Obviously, Waratah's gotten 2 goals early. You don't want to get 3 goals down and for Palmerston to get one on the board. So
seems to be a fairly, probably a 3 to 4 goal breeze going to the right of screen as well. Those flags over there on the old scoreboard fluttering fairly heavily to that end.
And we saw that in the women's game just before this as well. I think Waratah kicked their heaviest quarter down that end of the ground as well. So it'll be Eddie Betts with a free kick in the centre of the ground, looking to move it quickly. Goes to his player there in Matty Dennis, his ruckman. Cooper gets her hands over the top. Wharf throws on the left towards goal. Won't make it. That's a great mark at full forward from Brandon Ugle. He's on a tight angle, so he may go the run around here. Doesn't really have a lot of other options in his forward line.
Protected the drop of the ball then really well. He just held his opponent out and then just used the momentum of his opponent to shift him towards the ball. It's good use of the body.
So he runs around on his right, kicks it through, and he's happy with that. So Eddie Betts again involved in that passage of play, and he brings so much to this footy club. Obviously they've struggled the last couple of years, and bringing a player like him, and they've also got obviously Owen Davey and Neville Jetta, 2 other ex-AFL players, and they'll be great assets for them.
Yeah, well, I think Eddie's just been fantastic for them. Like sometimes the ex-AFL boys come up here and treat it like a bit of a party and a bit of a holiday, but Eddie's been fantastic. I've watched him 2 or 3 times now, and probably the 4th time I've called a game that he's played in. And anyone who thought he was just going to sit in the forward pocket and kick a few goals is wrong. Certainly plays up through the midfield, does a lot of hard work.
So Stevens out of the middle there. Magro gets it forward now with Corey Rich, throws onto his right, kicks it to full forward. Tutupu works his man to the ground, then gets a handy tap forward, but Palmerston work it over the back line, and it's a rush behind point for them. Play on pretty quickly. 2 players go down, but the Palmerston defenders rebounding out of half-back. Kicks it to the wing. Mark wasn't taken cleanly, but again, Palmerston maintained possession. Neville Jetta the target there. but the boundary line finds the ball first.
It'll be interesting just to see if they, if Palmerston can get a little bit of run off Tupu. A little bit of rebound. And that's probably the best way to work the big fella up the ground, make him defend a little bit, and he won't be able to attack as well.
Eddie Betts rose a ball there, perfect footy, kicks it to his forward, and umpire will call 50-metre penalty, so it'll be a shot on goal from the goal square to Palmerston.
Young Davey, is it?
I think it might be.
Waylon
Davey kicks it over the top, so Eddie Betts again involved, and Palmerston have kicked 3 in a row. They lead by 6 points, or 5 points now. 3 goals straight to 2 goals 1 as we tick towards 8.5 minutes in this first quarter here at TIO Stadium.
It's good to see a shootout. There's been a few games this year that, you get more enjoyment, more excitement out of watching paint dry.
Absolutely. Plugger at one end, Eddie at the other.
Yeah,
wouldn't mind a shootout there.
Be good to see, 100+ points from these sides today.
So Wilkins now taking up ruck duties for Tars. Dennis still in there for Palmerston. And it's Wilkins who gets it. Stafford in there as well. Try to take possession. Corey Rich with the ball. Taken pretty quickly. Umpire will call for a ball up. In fact, it's a free kick to Dennis, and Dennis hands it off to his teammate. Palmerston working it off half-back now. Throws a barrel. Was a bit of a wobbler. Only gets it as far as Joel Crocker on half-back. He goes across ground where there's a man on.
Yeah, not the best option there from the Palmerston player in Lennon Marlin. Going the barrel.
Munro made to work for Tars. The ball comes out to Collis. He throws it on the boot there as well.
Oh, good tackle. Very solid tackle there.
And Jackson Cole, the player, run down for Palmerston. Just try to do a bit too much, but didn't get rid of it quick enough. And it's now Magro who's taken a mark in the forward line. Umpire calls it back, however, and it'll be Joel Stevens. So the 2 Stevens boys out there. Here's Joel. Plays on and kicks it to the top of the square. Big to Tupu, the target again, couldn't take the mark. The Waratah player in space, handballs it back into him. He's pretty agile on his feet. Kicks in forward to Magro. Didn't have enough on it. Magro goes towards goal now. In fact, it'll be the pocket, and I think it's a mark. Umpire.
Downfield. No.
It's called free kick going to Magro for a late hit.
Come back after the Christmas break with a short back and sides haircut.
Yep.
Jaden.
Looking.
The mullet's gone. Must be time. Must be getting down to business now.
Absolutely.
He's got the business haircut.
Much cleaner on top.
Been a great player for him, hasn't he? Been an East Perth player who's come up here with very good credentials and hasn't let anyone down. He's been fantastic for Tars.
Absolutely. I was going to say probably up there in terms of recruits of the year. He kicked 5 goals in round 1 against this Palmerston mob as well. So hit the ground running. Unfortunately, he's just pushed
talked him up and
face a goal there.
The commentator's curse there.
That's it.
He's still got the tats. Can't rub them off.
Nah, can't rub them off. Business on top only.
Well,
lucky there, Palmerston, trying to find a gap. Eddie Betts now with the ball. The back line looks to play on.
Well, trying to milk that there. Just trying to milk that 50, wasn't he?
If anyone knows the tricks of the trade, it's Eddie. Trying to get the hands there again from his teammate.
Stand. The umpire will be yelling out again. Oh, dear. What's going on with that rule, Will? I don't know.
Yule now on half-back, kicks it up the wing. Lennon Marlin was pretty lucky to take the mark there. Pretty clever and creative with it.
That's better, son. Drop punt.
And
that was Stafford, was it?
Stafford, he's been paid. I think he might have been tunnelled out there.
He's got the free kick. I don't know why he's remonstrating with the Waratah's player. He's like to have it taken off him.
Yeah, he's had some words there with the Tars defender. Might be O'Dwyer there.
Yeah, I reckon he's wrenched his knee. He doesn't look comfortable, and Stafford's had a good year for Palmerston. He was a bit up and down last season, but this year he seems to have committed more, and great talent. Like, I think people, no one underestimates what a talented footballer Daniel is.
He's leading their goal kicking. He's kicked 25 goals so far this year. That one doesn't make it 26. But sitting relatively high on that goal kicking table as well. I don't quite know where he sits, but he's definitely in the top 10.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's moving very well at all, but he might be right. Just a bit of a stinger maybe on his knee. So they've sort of got half a zone. They've got a zone at the front, and they've got half of them are doing man-on-man back. It's probably more man-on-man now. The zone's fallen apart.
And it was Barty who couldn't take the mark for Tars upon resumption of play. But they will get a free kick out of it and will go to Collis. So Tars had plenty of time to set up there. Maybe they had a bit too much and they look a bit nervous coming out of their back line at the moment. Now with Cree.
Yeah, it's not a good free kick to give away there, Will, because they've made the fumble, you force the error, and you just have to make sure you don't let them off by giving away that soft free kick that the Palmerston forward gave away.
Absolutely, and if you can manage to get a score out of it, even a goal, that's exactly what you want from that.
Yeah, 7-point play, or you get a point and you reload and you keep the pressure on, but giving away an in the back of all free kicks. I used to not mind a high tackle because you'd sort of think, well, at least the intent was there. But in the backs, you'd just be really, I'd be annoyed as a coach when in the backs I just look at them as soft free kicks.
Yeah, absolutely. Play will resume on that far wing now. And it's Hollenby for Palmerston. And he gives away a free kick to Goodwin. So Tom Goodwin, making his presence felt. He gets a 50-metre penalty as well. I don't know if this will quite bring him within range, but Ruckman aren't notorious for their kicking on goal, are they, Damien? No,
well, that's right. I think there was somebody's obviously just given a little bit of unsolicited advice to the umpire, I'd say, and it wasn't appreciated. So he's marched him, and so they've gone from having the pressure down here 35 metres out, free kick, Waratahs get the ball out there, then a 50, and now Waratahs are having a shot on goal. A little bit of ill discipline from the Magpies.
And I think the clubs are aware that the umps are cracking down on talking back to them at the moment. Haven't been too impressed with it in the first half season, so I said we're going to crack down on it in the second half after Christmas. That one's gone through for behind, so Palmerston let off the hook there by Goodwin's shot on goal, and it'll be Alwyn Davey kicking out from fullback. Ball now finds Flanagan in the back pocket. They don't have a lot to go to. Gets it very tight to Neville Jetta. Nearly stuck the mark. He's taken possession instead, kept it alive. Kicks it to the advantage of Dennis and Davey. They've got another runner inside as well through Hollenby, but they'll go forward to Stafford instead. Bounces off his chest. Then hits the boot of the Tars player. And comes back now to the Palmerston forward. Trying to work it inbound, but they can't. Kitch gets it to Gooch. Gooch isn't happy with young Waylon Davey, and they've given away a free kick, Palmerston have.
Yeah, just in the back then from young Mishai Perry Jr. It was good tackle, though. His intent was good.
So Eddie Betts with the ball, and it's a free kick against him. Corey Rich now pushes the ball down to Stevens on the forward flank. He plays on with space in front of him. Kicks it forward to Magro. Good interception from the Palmerston player there in Jackson Cole. He's had a bit of the ball in that back line as well.
Yeah, it looked like a double-fisted Flanagan from in front then.
Yep. Yeah.
Made famous in the 90s by the former Southern Districts captain Darren Flanagan. Loved to double-fist them away from in front. 25 metres clear sometimes.
Coach is not a fan of it, Damien.
He did it under a lot of pressure too at times as well.
Yep.
But yeah, we do have a laugh about it, so the double-fisted Flanagan from in front.
Looks like there's a bit of tension bubbling over there. Another 50-metre penalty in today's game, this time Palmerston's way.
So it looks like umpire Noonan's thrown himself into the fray. Is that Noonan? Yeah, number 20, he's out there.
Yep, Noonan's. Our umpires today should give them a mention. Obviously, Emma Stark and Mark Noonan we've mentioned already, and John Howarth and Samson Bamment.
Yeah, because they have the rotation, don't they? So they must have started Noons on the bench. So he's come in and put his mark on the game immediately, Will.
Yep. So Palmerston with the point. Crocker now for Tars as play resumes. Comes out now to Ned Stevens. Under pressure, couldn't take the mark, but keeps possession. Gets a hand inbound to Rich. Rich then goes back to Griffiths. Griffiths now comes out again to Stevens. Plays on again to Rich. Rich gets it a bit further down to Wilkins.
Oh, give it, son.
There's plenty of players on here. If he keeps going, he's got Munro in the pocket.
There's loose players everywhere here for the Tars.
Plenty of options. Goes over to Magro.
Finisher. Boom. Goal. Geez, there's some loose players there for Waratahs.
Don't know what happened there. Palmerston kept napping.
Everything was going forward and there was no transition there from Palmerston, and Waratahs could have raffled that one in the end. Magro grabbed it and said, here, give it here, I'll kick it.
And the way they moved forward was almost like a rugby style, just the whole team.
Yeah, just a wave.
Just flooded forward. Palmerston couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah, Ned Stevens, they just summed it up well there. He had a lot of options, Rich got involved, and in the end they did well. Tars. You love those sort of goals, Will.
Yeah, absolutely.
In footy, where it's nice and easy. There's plenty of times it's hard work.
Watch Palmerston out of the middle here. They've got a stellar lineup. Hollenby in the ruck, Betts, Jetta and Wharf all there.
They've loaded up the middle.
See if it pays off for them. Tars take first possession. Betts picks it up. Free kicks paid, advantage is given. Now with Lambton, he kicks it forward. Stafford, the one-handed juggle doesn't pay off. And Tars now work it out of their back line. Finds Rich. Williamstown VFL play. Kicked 5 goals last week. His best return after plenty of misses. I think at one stage he had the most misses for the league. Palmerston now looking to reload. And Stafford in a pretty good position. Comes over the back to Cooper.
Kicks his second.
Yep, that's gone through. I thought it might have been behind, but he's pretty happy with it, and so is the goal umpire.
He's a talent, Justin Cooper. He's been around for quite a while now. Former St Mary's premiership player. And kicks that one for the Magpies. I'd think the Magpies, with the amount of play they've had, they'd want to be a couple of goals up at quarter time. I think they'd be happy with that if they could be a couple of goals in front, considering there is a bit of a breeze going to that end of the ground. But I've been impressed with their centre setup. Probably in the first half of the quarter they struggled a little bit, but they seem to have lifted in the middle and are getting plenty of clearances now.
And I think having a few of the inclusions they have this week and that they've acquired over the course of the season means they have the manpower to rotate their midfielders and keep them fresh as the game goes on.
Yep.
Early on in the season, I think they were just being, and in previous seasons we've seen as well, just run over the top of when they don't have the players to replace them on the bench. Tars now looking to get one back. Ball comes forward for them. Abe Anchors with the ball. He's tackled while Lambton gets her hands out. Tom Cree now kicks it forward into space.
Big fella.
Running onto it.
Oh,
hands it out to Magro.
He's slick.
Pretty smooth. Doesn't mind the hands for a big fella, does he?
Yeah, no, he shares it around well. Magro gets another one. And it's tit for tat at the moment here at Marara.
So as we tick towards 22 minutes here in the first quarter of round 14 action at TIO Stadium, the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season. It's all square. Waratah 4 goals, 2-26, equal with Palmerston on 4 goals, 2-26. Cooper and Magro with 2 goals each and a few singles around the place. Damien?
Yeah, and I think Tapu's, that's his second assist. I think he set up Goodwin. He set up Arnold. He knocked the ball in front of Arnold when he kicked his goal, and then he's just given Jaden Magro one. So good stuff from the big fella. He came out, he kept square, trapped it and fed it off. It was good play.
So play to resume again. Dennis on Wilkins in the middle. Dennis gets the tap down. It'll be a free kick going the way of Palmerston. Be Ethan Little. It's a quick hands out. Eddie Betts gives the Shepherd.
Oh, still in.
Ball kept alive there. Don't know what the players were flying for, if they wanted to keep it in or if they wanted to reset and have it roll over the boundary line. They'll have their opportunity now.
Yeah, junk time now, so this is where you don't want to concede a goal. So Waratahs will have to be nice and tight here.
Wilkins with the handy hit out. Works it back now. Alwyn Davey. Little kick wasn't enough. Anchors gets the hands over to Wilkins. Wilkins then gets it out in front of a runner. Now he goes back to Wilkins.
Joel Stevens, I think.
Stevens, sorry. Yeah. Yep. Now to the
great
hot spot.
Really good transition there. And if you have a look at the wing right now, Willie, we won't be able to see it on the TV, but there's 5 Palmerston midfielders walking with their hands on their hips. Waratah's powered away from that stoppage off the half-back flank and created that run, and the Palmerston midfielders probably a little bit fatigued. And as I said, you don't want to concede goals at this time of the quarter. The big fella's gone back and jailed it. He doesn't waste a lot of energy with his kicking style either, Tupu. But yeah, it was really noticeable that after that stoppage on the half-back flank, Waratahs flooded forward and powered away from the stoppage, and the midfielders from Palmerston were left sort of walking away from the stoppage, and so hence the overlap and a nice easy mark in the end. You kick him all day up like that to Tupu, he's going to mark him every time.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's one of the things that does separate those contenders from the rest in this competition. It's even though Tars are down a few soldiers, the structures are in place, and those coming into the side know exactly what they need to do to make sure the team picks up where they left off last week.
Yeah, and the comps are, and you look at AFL footy, most comps it's around the work rate of your midfield and your midfield players, and if you've got 9 or 10 of them rotating through there, how hard they're willing to work and get to the next contest. And on that occasion, Waratahs just simply wanted to work harder than what the Palmerston guys did.
So Palmerston work it about 15 metres forward. Dennis again with the handy hit out, only as far as Gooch.
We love the Gooch.
And Stevens picks up, kicks out. Not a great kick. Intercepted there by Lambton. He now gets it inboard to John Harvey. He's run down. Free kick paid against. Advantage paid. Magro now with the ball. Gets it to Rich, who hops to Shepherd. Gives it off to Anchors. Runs inside 50. Goes on goal. And
that hurts.
Happy with that one.
Yeah, I think you called it, Willie, at the 22-minute mark. And it was the scores are all level. At 4 goals, 2 apiece, I think it was. And Palmerston and Waratahs have just kicked the next 2 in time on. So, they're the goals that, they hurt you. The junk time, blokes are starting to think about the break and, it's not long to go. And then suddenly the oppo gone bang, bang, and you're 2 goals behind. And Palmerston, as I said, would prefer to be 2 goals up with a slight breeze. But have sort of bundied off a little bit here, and Waratahs have caught them napping and have been able to continue to work hard and have got the reward.
And aside from that last, sort of 5 minutes of play, they probably deserve to be up Palmerston. But, they've just been caught napping in the last little bit of this quarter, and it's probably the first thing Josh Heath will address in his quarter-time message. Ball comes up again. Dennis with another hit out. He's getting on top of it in the later stages of the quarter. He's wrapped up. Ball comes out now with Collis. Dancing backwards. Now with Anchors. Tries to get it across. Now it comes out the back to Griffiths. And he finds a play out on the wing. And they've got another play on. It's Joel Stevens. Takes a solid mark. Now goes inboard again. This time with Don't. And it just seems a bit too easy for them at the moment. Palmerston not putting on enough pressure. Wilkins this time gets it over the top. Barty kicks it forward. Doesn't find a target and rolls over the boundary line.
It's hard to be critical because at the moment, the way things are, I know that a lot of sides aren't training simply because it's too hard to manage the whole COVID thing and the resources you need, water bottles for everyone and, cleaning the footy and hand sanitizer, it all just adds costs. So a lot of teams are not training at this time or training 1 day a week. And I can understand that, but Palmerston certainly look as though they're out on their feet at the moment and looking forward to a break.
And the big fella Tutupu nearly got one out of the ruck there, but he's just found a fullback standing on the goal line. Palmerston now rebounding, and they are definitely trying to slow up play. As we edge close to quarter time, they don't want to give away another one. They already trail by 12 points. But they might have more trouble to come. No, they don't. That's quarter time. So it's Waratah on 6 goals to 38. Palmerston on 4 goals to 26, trailing by 12 points. Goals 2 to Justin Cooper and 2 to Magro.
I think they've paid a downfield here for the hit on Collis
so we
right at the end. So, there is a free kick. So, just these little things for the Maggies. Like I enjoy their endeavour. Like I think they're really having a go for the club and for each other and their coach. But then they let themselves down with just these little bit of discipline things like giving away free kicks, giving away 50s, giving away FADs.
Yeah, there have been a few 50s today already, you've seen?
Yeah.
Not a great kick there from Arnold, but they still hold a 12-point lead. So goal kickers listed 2 for Jaden Magro and Tutupu for Tars, 1 to Anchors and 1 to Arnold, and for Palmerston it's 2 to Cooper, 1 to Brandon Ugle and 1 to Waylon Davey. We'll be back right after this short break.
You know what great mates Territorians can be.
Always willing to lend a hand, or something else. So if they ever ask to borrow your car, as you know they will, you can say yes, knowing that your TIO comprehensive car insurance has them covered. Same as you. It's good to know.
So get a quote today.
TIO. We're for Territorians.
Kazali's Palmerston Club. Come and check out our cafe, open 7 days a week. Our kids club is open Wednesday to Sunday nights, including weekend lunchtime. Enjoy hot meals with nightly specials at the bistro or cold drinks at the sports bar. Feeling lucky? Have a go at the latest machines in our gaming lounge or grab your mates for a round of pool. Family gatherings or casual meetings, we have something for everyone. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
You know Territorians are a hardy bunch.
Hats off to you. Whether you're new or you've been here forever, we know what the weather can throw at us. That's why TIO Home Insurance covers your home for cyclone, storm surge and flood. It's good to know. And with the only contact centre, claims team and assessors based in the Territory,
We're here when you need us most.
TIO, we're for Territorians.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium. You're watching AFLNT's coverage of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season. Round 14 action between Waratah and Palmerston. Scoreline reads Waratah on 6 goals to 38, leading Palmerston by 12 points, 4 goals to 26. What are your thoughts on the game so far, Damien? Palmerston came out of the blocks relatively well, but have just sort of dropped their heads late in that quarter.
Yeah, it's been entertaining, Will. I've enjoyed it. There's 10 goals in the first quarter, which is 6 to the Tars and 4 to the Pies. So it's been pretty good. As I picked up on a couple of things, Palmerston, conceded 2 late goals, which Coach Heath wouldn't be happy about, especially time on goals. Coaches like those ones, and just around their discipline and their work rate, and just got to continue to work on that. They've got a young group, and they've also got some older players with some experience. So it's hard to sort of see what the pathway is with Palmerston at the moment, but it's just about probably getting a side together to be competitive, and there's certainly that today. I thought Waratahs were a lot cleaner. You can tell, the Tars guys are a more settled side, I suppose. The Stevens boys, Magro, Anchors, guys like that, Dylan Collis, blokes that have been playing together a fair bit. Addison Doint has been very good most of the year as well. So, I thought they just looked a little bit. Corey Rich obviously comes into it, and they've got the big guy Tapu up forward. So it really gives them someone at the end of the funnel. When in doubt, just kick it to him, and he's going to give you a contest. He's a big man, and he's done that. He's did really well in that quarter and set up a couple of goals, kicked a couple himself. So, I think Waratah's at the moment fractionally in front, and probably deservedly so. So, the challenge now, I think, Will, for Palmerston is just to really knuckle down in this quarter, probably going into a 2 to 3 goal breeze, and just to make sure that they don't get blown away and that they're still close enough at half time. Yeah,
absolutely. They're definitely not out of it, but they need to. You almost saw 2 Palmerston sides that quarter, the first 20 minutes and the last 8 or so, and they want to bring out what was there in that first 20 minutes. And, as you say, it's probably going to be up against. They're probably going to be up against it this quarter, being against the wind. But if they can, stem the bleeding, possibly get a few goals themselves, that's what they'd be hoping for going into half time.
Yeah, just sort of control the tempo of the game a little bit. I thought the game was played on Waratah's terms. Waratah's control the footy well. They play a bit of possession style of football, and when they pull the slingshot, they really do go hard and they go quickly forward. I think they had more control over the way they like to play the game, and whereas Palmerston didn't have that sort of similar control over how they want to play it. So, Waratahs at the moment are in control, and it's going to take a little bit of an effort here from Palmerston to hang in.
So one of the key players for Palmerston today, Matt Dennis, will be in the ruck against Tom Goodwin to start this second quarter. And it's Goodwin again, who's been pretty handy in the ruck today for Tars.
He's a good size, isn't he, Goodwin?
Umpire Stark calls for a free kick in favour of the Tars. They look to go forward now. There's a player out there, I think it's Corey Rich. Davey did well to stop an easy mark, but he's given away a free kick, unfortunately. So Rich could be beyond him. He looks confident.
He's not turning his back when he walks back now. I remember, didn't I give him a fair spray?
I think we might have. I think I took his goal kicking licence off him, and you told him to.
When he walked back, and I said, if God would have given you eyes in your bum, if you're going to walk backwards, he would have given you eyes so you could see what was going on. And to Rich's, to Corey's, to his benefit there, he's gone back and he's kept his eye on the play, and he's kicked a nice one out there to his teammate who will have a shot on goal.
So, pretty handy kick there from Thomas Toma.
Good start for Tars. That's not what Palmerston wanted. Strong in the middle once again. Goodwin straight through. He's a big body. Different style of ruckman. He's a big, bulky lad, and he's just going to go hard at the contest. Matty Dennis is more of an athletic ruckman who's more like a ruck rover too. When the ball hits the ground, Matty Dennis is very much still in the contest. But Goodwin's a big physical presence there, so it'll be interesting. With Thomas Cree in there with Goodwin, and you've got Abe Anchors. They're going all right out of the middle of the Tars.
Ball goes up. Goodwin again with the fists on it. Anchors will get to it first. can't pick it up cleanly, fumbles over his own feet, but he gets a free kick on the way through. Umpires called play on. Corey Rich with the ball now. He's got 3 to beat. Eddie Betts is one of them. He takes possession, throws it onto the boot, into space, and the ball bounces over the boundary line.
Yeah, Munro took the advantage there, took the game on, which is okay. Didn't quite come off for him, but he's another one who's doing quite well. James Munro in the midfield for Tars.
So no one really got the hit out there, but Tars managed to work it in their favour, and they get a free kick out of it. It'll go to the big fella in Goodwin. Dennis trying to tie his shoes up and delay a bit of play.
What's going on there?
I think they've given away a free kick. Ryan Wolf's entered the protected zone there.
It was all a bit messy in the end.
Just a brain fade there.
The big fella's going to line up. Slight angle 30 metres out. Well, let's see if Goodwin, he's been strong, hasn't he, in the first quarter and a bit of this game?
Yeah, definitely.
Big Goodwin.
Wouldn't have picked him as having a handy day being up against Dennis, but he's held himself in the rucks. This is his second shot inside 50.
I reckon he's just on his distance too then. He got through.
That one's gone through.
Get around the big guy. He's doing well. Yeah, Palmerston need to respond here, Will. This is otherwise they could quickly find themselves, 40 or 50 points adrift at half time if they don't find a little bit here. The forward line, their back line's got to tighten up as well. Just looking at starting points, just getting guys to be inside, arm across.
They trail by 24 points, so it's already starting to look much further apart than it did at quarter time. Looks like Palmerston could be down a soldier with Heath Morgan Morris being tended to by the Docks.
Goodman again.
Tars away. Again through Munro. And again.
Hey, Rich.
To Rich.
No, he's gone back to turning his back on the play. He's telling every one of the forwards, don't bother.
What's the old saying? Old habits die hard.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to kick this one, so go back and kick it, son. Big Goodwin's coming for a spell. It's been good.
Much deserved. So here comes Rich. A bit of a stutter in his run in. He kicks towards goal and the umpire barely moves, so he gets his first for the day.
He's been a good player for them. The times that I've seen him play, Rich, he's been very good. And I think he comes from the VFL. And he comes pretty well credentialed as well.
Yeah, he's a Williamstown player.
Yeah. And he's been, every time I've watched him play, he's been fairly dominant for them. So
definitely adds a lot of pace on the wing. He's usually played majority of his games on the wing and floated in and out of the back and forward flank. Obviously he started in the forward line this quarter. But yeah, very well credentialed and been a great asset to them. So it's been Tars the whole way in the first 6 minutes of this quarter. Extended their margin to 30 points now. And Wilkins gets a hit out. He'll rove his own ball, runs forward, under pursuit, kicks it in the forward line. And Alwyn Davies giving away another free kick. There's definitely a bit of tension out there.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think you're entitled to hold your ground, and the ball's gone past him. It didn't appear to me that Froggy deviated off his own line. He just simply held his line. I don't know about that free kick, but anyway, the umpire saw it differently, so they're the ones in charge. Will?
And
I don't want to get a strongly worded email from Meg saying, Haley, don't bag umpires.
I think it's Kitch who's kicked it through there. In fact, it's Cameron Arnold. So he kicks his second for the day.
So, we're looking at, what is it over there on the scoreboard? I can't see that far,
It's
Will.
a 36-point margin, Haley.
And how long's gone?
We're just under 7 minutes of the way gone, so not exactly what you'd want. Josh Heath, I'm trying to find him on the bench and see what his reaction is, but he wouldn't be happy.
Well, you have a think about it. It was 24, it was, 26 all time on?
They're up by 6 points, so they've kicked the last 7 goals in a row. And that was probably only about 20 minutes of the way through that quarter.
Yeah, so in the last 11 minutes, they've conceded about 7 goals. They know how the Western Bulldogs felt in the grand final.
And that was a glorious day for me, that's for sure, Haley.
Oh.
Hollandby out of the ruck for Palmerston. Now they could be on. Don't have possession, but they'll get a free kick. That was holding the man. And Isaac Andrade goes out, finds Lambton. Looking forward. Now it hasn't been down there in so long, they don't really know what to do.
Nice. It's a good grab there.
Mark over the top from Bowd, over the top of Ugle, who has copped a cork in the process. He's coming gingerly to the bench with a bit of a stinger. Arnold the target, bounces over his top. Davey will rove it, picks it up, tries to put out a don't argue. Ball's kept alive. No, it's not. Good effort by Little, but the umpires said no, it was just a bit too far over. So we'll have a throw in. Hollandby on Wilkins, the 2 makeshift ruckman. Hollandby taps it down. Ethan Little now. Didn't get a favourable bounce, and it's Magro who picks it up off 1 step. Goes to Tupu, try to keep it alive. He did. Don't know if that's advantage, if given him the advantage or not.
Yeah, he kept it in there, the big fella. Forced the throw in.
He's not a lazy fella, that's for sure.
His second efforts are good. Yeah,
have another crack at it.
Second and third efforts, and he dished out a few handballs and a tap on for Arnold's goal in the first quarter. So certainly a team player.
Having a go on the ruck now. Pretty easy out for him there, muscling his way through. And Magro could get on the end of it here. No, he doesn't. Waylon Davey tries to dance around Collis, but you don't dance around players like that with much ease, and he's given away a free kick. So Collis looks to move it quickly. Now finds the big fella. Umpire's called another free kick.
Downfield. It's got to hold it together a bit here, the Pies. They started well, Will, but the pressure cranks up. The high humidity in the Northern Territory and the 30, probably be 40 degrees out there in the middle of the ground, and tempers get a little bit frayed. And unfortunately, Waylon has given away, Davey has given away a downfield here. Gave Collis one to go on with. Oh, the big fella's missed it. Let him off the hook.
So I don't think the Davies will be too popular back at the club tonight. Owen hasn't had a great quarter here. Given away a few unfortunate free kicks, and Waylon with a bit of a disciplined one there. Now with Little on half-back for Palmerston, they look to see if they can make something out of this quarter. Neville Jetta.
Oh, good attack on the ball there.
He earns himself a free kick. Umpire calls play on. Will come through Cole. Goes to Betts. Betts gets it out there to Marlin. He goes forward. And Tar's now working out their back line.
Oof.
Players don't know where the ball's gone. Wharf will be first to it. Paddles it to his own advantage. He's tackled over the boundary line.
Yeah, Addison Daunt there.
Just letting him know about it as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he put his body on the line there and then butted up and went hard again. Well done, local junior. His father, Adam, played back when I played back, when jumpers were lace-up, Will.
Way back when.
Way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Big Goodwin gets the handy hit out there. Munro now trying to work it. He's got about 4 Magpies to beat. Doesn't go down without a fight. And umpire will say my ball. So he's done very well there, Munro, just to work about 10 metres forward. Sometimes that's all you need. Hollandby gets the ball now. Straight to Betts. Dances around one, but he's tackled.
Yeah, good decision there.
And he's been given a free kick for tripping. I think he's tried to jump over his opponent there, and he's just missed. Looks to go quickly. Umpire calls play on. Hands it out. Probably could have gone forward instead. Jetta gets involved. A quick 1-2. Now on to Flanagan. He's tackled. Flung around there with his lighter frame. Magro now with the ball on half back. Gets it out to Doint. finds Joel Stevens there on the wing. Very close to the boundary line, called to play on. Goes inboard to Gooch. Gooch goes down the line. It's a good mark under pressure there to Munro. He's told to play on, dances around his opponent on the mark. Just goes inside 50,
well
kicks and finds Corey Rich, who again looks like he wants to go back and have a shot at this one, Damien. He's not.
You reckon?
He's not looking forward.
It was good play there from Munro. Just sized it up well. And Joel Stevens, like very poised under pressure. Joel Stevens, he's had a run down in the SANFL, and he just when he gets the ball, you know that a Waratahs player will get it the next after him.
Yeah, he's had a very good season. I reckon this game today's probably been the best I've seen him play so far, most involved.
There was a bit going on, and he just, bit of class, fed the ball back inside, got it over to Munro, took a good strong chest mark, and then just chipped it over the top to Rich, and he finishes off the good work. So a bit more intensity there from Palmerston. A couple of them, Neville Jetta certainly attacking the ball hard to try to inspire his teammates, but at the moment we've got a lot of Pies boys are looking for the $2 coin, walking around with their heads down.
Josh Heath not looking too impressed on the boundary line. He's had his arms folded for about the first 14 minutes at least of this quarter, and I dare say the last quarter.
He's a very mild-mannered man too, Joshy Heath, so he might just let one rip at half-time possibly.
So Hollenby gets a hit out there against Seaman Goodwin, who's been very good in ruck today. Stevens there tries to work it forward. Now with anchors, he's tackled. Gets it out to Ned Stevens now. He goes forward, and it's a contest in the goal square. Just goes over their heads for a behind.
Yeah, it's all too easy out of the middle at the moment for Tars. They're just flooding the ball. They're just running hard in numbers. Joel Stevens, Abe Anchors, Munro when he's in there. They're just, Goodwin. They're just too hard at the ball at the moment for the Magpies midfielders.
Yeah, they're definitely missing their captain, Eric Guthrie. Had an absolute blinder eye here last week against Wanderers, even though they went down by about 40 points. He's obviously not out there today. Not sure if he's injured or if he's succumbed to a COVID close contact or something, but they would love to have him out there today, that's for sure. So Dennis now takes possession for the Maggies just behind centre. Now with Lambton. Now back to Dennis. None of these touches and connections are clean, are they? But they're making it work. Now goes to Jetta. He's got to work as well. Squeezes through, gets her hands out. Umpire calls advantage after a free kick. It's Jamie Ewell. Has he been given a 50-metre penalty?
Yeah.
I think he has.
Yeah, I think the guy they're all looking at is number 9. I think he's the guilty party, Jake Bowd. Yeah, ran along the side of the protected area, and umpire Noonan was having none of it. I'm not going to put up with that sort of misbehaviour on the footy field. So bang, pinged him.
And it's a goal, much needed as well. And look, hopefully it gives them the confidence to make a game of it. They are currently trailing by 38 points.
They probably need the next 5. Will?
Yep. Next 5, get them in touch. Next 6, put them in front.
Yeah. They need at least the next 5. The Maggies. If they can pinch a couple before half time and with a bit of a breeze, mount something in the third quarter, but it's going to take a lot of work rate, a lot of effort, and a bit more discipline. I think they need to cut out the little silly free kicks and 50-metre penalties.
I think Josh Heath needs to ask them who's going to stand up, who's going to be, because they do need someone to just, maybe all it is 1 or 2 plays, but they definitely need someone to flick the switch out there. Umpire will call for a second shot at that ball up.
As you know, in Darwin footy, the longer the game goes, the harder to find that switch.
Absolutely.
The heat and the humidity gets to you.
It doesn't look like a hot day if you watch it on the screen, but I can tell you it's not pretty out there.
Here they go again.
Tars too easy. 3 of them running forward. Late Shepherd, and it'll be a free kick going in favour of Eddie Betts. So a few Bronx cheers from the crowd.
Yeah, it was probably more than 5 metres away, I think. Might have been Waratah's boys just wanted to make sure Eddie earned his shepherd.
Now with Ewell again, kicks it forward, over the top of the players, and I think it's Cooper who's got his third.
Here they come, a little spurt from the Palmerston boys now.
So 2 in a row, very handy for them, and they reduce that margin now to 32 points. So yeah, I think it was 50 points unanswered. Waratah have kicked since about the 20-minute mark of that first quarter. Palmerston now starting to plug it back, and as we said, it still looks like a pretty big deficit. It's not beyond them, but they need to get on their bike, and from our end at least, we'd like to see them make a game of it. Talking about a shootout early, Damien. It's 17 goals so far, so not too bad.
Yeah, and I think it will continue to open up. It depends also on the fitness levels of the boys. They may start to make more errors in the second half as fatigue sets in, but it hasn't been that bad a game. It's been played in sort of 2 halves, though, hasn't it?
Easy hit out for Wilkins, but straight to Eddie Betts. It's a high ball. At the bottom of it was Ugle, couldn't take the mark. Palmerston teammates wrapped up, and umpire Stark will call for a free kick. Tar's quick to move on now with Anchors. Gets it on his right, wheels it to the half-forward flank, just through the fingers of Andrade. And Davey now on the rebound for Palmerston. Goes out to that far side. Perry Jr., I think it is, goes into Wharf.
It's a better build-up here from Palmerston. Better possession, keeping possession of the footy, kicking to players as they lead into position.
Cooper now with it. They definitely have a bit more confidence about them these last couple of minutes. Though that was not a great forward entry. However, they will get away with
Stafford.
Free kick to Big Daniel Stafford. And he's got to be careful not to give it away there. He lets the man on the mark know, Dwyer. Stark telling Stafford to make sure he gets on his line.
He took a half step to the left. Did you see that?
Yeah. Strolls in.
Goes bang. Oh,
not
that
quite.
Usually comes back from that side. I think he might have given up the goals on the kick. Because that usually would have worked its way back from that the way the wind comes around the side of the grandstand there. Oh, he's forced the error though, Stafford.
Good work. Not sure what the player was looking for there. I think it was Cole who's just almost done a backward snap. And just like that, O'Dwyer has it on the wing. And the umpire's given a free kick against John Harvey, and Josh Heath would not be happy with that at all. He's just very unnecessary, just giving a little handball away. I think he thought it was going to be a free kick against him anyway. And
no, I think, I don't know about that. He just went to throw the ball at the other bloke, didn't he? Handball it at him. I don't know, Will. Did you think that was a free kick, Will? Should have been?
Oh, borderline. I'll sit on the fence for that one.
Yeah.
Tars now working the ball backwards. Not the direction they want to, and it hasn't really worked out for him. Misha Perry Jr. gets it to Cooper. He goes inboard to Stafford, but a good intercept mark there. Read very well from Zach Griffiths on half back. He goes across to O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer goes out the far side now. There's 2 players to choose from. They'll work it together. Stark allows advantage. Munro now with it. Didn't take it cleanly, but he goes off to Toma. Toma kicks it over the top, and again, they're just moving in a wave, aren't they? Anchors picks up the ball, gets around one.
Oh, it's a bit easy. Oh.
And made a meal out of it.
Oh, snuck through for a point. Yeah, they just seem, their work seems a lot easier than what the Palmerston work is to get up there into the ground.
Owen Davey plays on.
They've done well here, the Magpies, just to stem the flow a little bit though and rest back the momentum. It's hard. Games of footy are won in times when you have the momentum, and Waratah's had the momentum, but Palmerston have rested it back a little bit here.
It's a bit of a fork in the road moment here, Damien.
Yeah, if they can kick one more, if they can kick another goal before half-time, the Magpies, it'll give them a little bit of hope as they go in for the long break.
Crocker on half-back now, gets around Wharf. Now kicks it down the wing. It's a 1-on-2 out there. Palmerston should come off with it. They got a player behind play, but they don't use him. Instead, they move forward. And umpires seem a bit trigger-friendly on the whistle. Be a free kick.
And then somebody's
another 50-metre
said
penalty.
something. Might have been Abe Ankers, I think, might have looked as though umpire Noonan was looking at him, if that is him with the red boots on.
I think that's definitely him out there. He can be known for being a bit lippy at times as well. So
yeah, well, they're paying downfield, so you've got to be careful hitting blokes after they kick the ball, because there's been about 4 or 5 of them paid today so far. So stop doing it, otherwise they can make your day miserable. They can really wreck your day for you if you keep giving away these type of free kicks.
So Yule goes in and he's missed it and let them off the hook. But you're right, Damien, you know, first quarter you might have a few free kicks that go that way that aren't expected, but, you know, by this stage of the game they know that they're going to be paying them for late hits and for talking back to the umpire. We've already seen about half a dozen 50-metre penalties, so just stop doing it. Crocker now with the ball in the back line for Tars. Goes out to Munro. Just chewing up time as we're in red time here. They don't want to give away a goal as much as Palmerston don't want to. They can feel it coming, and that's not a good kick. It's out on the full. Thought the wing was going to bring it back in.
That could be a 50, isn't it? They'll be careful punching the ball away.
Yeah, even something as simple as that we could see.
Well, there's probably no difference between that and what the Palmerston player did.
Yeah.
So they should have probably paid that against the Tars.
Neville Jetta plays on, gets a better angle and kicks it to the hot spot. No one from Palmerston flew in the right spot, unfortunately for him, and Stevens gets it out of there, and Corey Rich has got plenty of space and he's got a lot of speed in his wheels, so he'll go for a run. He's got a challenge for him, but he looks for the big man, and that's a great mark from Tutupu.
Big fella.
Very happy with that. He plays on, goes inboard to Magro.
And shares it around.
You don't see that from the big fellas a lot, do you, Damien?
No, but I think it goes to time wasting on that punching the ball away. That's what they can do it under. Just going back to that other incident over there where the Waratahs player punched the ball when it was obviously already out on the full.
Yeah.
I think the same penalty was paid against the Palmerston player, but wasn't against Waratahs. Tupu's good. I like him. He's a big unit, and he's a little bit nimble as well.
So here's Magro rolling in.
Well, he's missed it.
Doesn't like that one, though.
He might have to grow the mullet back.
His magic charm, his lucky charm.
Yeah, it could be. He has kicked a couple in the first quarter, though.
Davey gets it out of the back line. Boundary umpire takes a tumble. Palmerston, not a great kick out to that far wing. Wilkins will work to get the ball forward. Palmerston managed to get away with it. Now out to Wharf. He takes the mark. It's the halftime siren goes. So it's 11 goals, 6-72. Waratah leading Palmerston 6 goals, 4-40. A 32-point margin. We'll be back right after this halftime break.
You know what great mates Territorians can be.
Always willing to lend a hand, or something else. So if they ever ask to borrow your car, as you know they will, you can say yes, knowing that your TIO comprehensive car insurance has them covered. Same as you. It's good to know.
So get a quote today.
TIO. We're for Territorians.
Absolutely zero.
Zero.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be 0.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's asking too much.
Domestic violence is everybody's business.
And it's not just the physical abuse, it's the things we don't see.
It is hurting our families. It is killing our families.
A lot of people have been silent to this fact, and I think it's about time we all speak up together and say no more to this form of abuse.
No more.
No more. No more family violence.
No more to the family violence.
No more. No more.
No more.
Everyone feels stressed or worried from time to time.
There's no shame in asking for help.
Yarning to friends or family can make you feel better.
Sometimes it's as simple as a text or a phone call.
If you or someone you know needs support,
visit www.mentalhealthnt.com.au.
Listen up, kids. Make school your story. Help you succeed and rise to glory.
Safe to go to school.
So go the distance. Attend every day. Learn and listen. School holiday rockin' with love or break.
Time with friends and family is always right.
But when it's time for school, don't get slack.
It's safe to go to school. Can't wait to get back. So don't cut corners.
Do the full term. It's safe to go to school. And it's time to learn. So don't cut corners. Do the full term. Make school your story. And it's time to learn.
School returns February 2021. Written and authorised by the Northern Territory Government.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
At Muzbuzz, keep cool this summer with our new range of frappes, including cookies and cream, chai and matcha. You can also enjoy our totally scrumptious range of food and snacks. Australian owned and operated. Muzbuzz, great coffee is just the beginning.
On Territory roads, anything can happen. So you need to drive to the conditions. Speeding can get you into all sorts of trouble. Dirt roads aren't just dusty. When it's hard to see, they're dangerous. At water crossings, remember, you're driving a motor car, not a boat. High water can be deep trouble. All sorts of animals can be on the road, so watch out. And if the weather is bad, slow down, you mob. Drive to the conditions and arrive in good condition.
The time to kickstart your business is now. Get your message across with the experienced local TV production team at Kick Digital. Cost effective, rapid turnaround, exceptional service. Kick Digital. Television production energised.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal for all school-related activities. 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact CFS Gear for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Vaccinate to protect our players.
To protect our coaches.
To protect our umpires.
To protect our supporters.
To protect our game.
Head to the Danila Dilba website for more information.
Getting my hands on the footy and just being with my mates.
I like being outdoors. It just makes me happy.
I don't like it when I get yelled at.
It's pretty embarrassing when someone's shouting at you halfway through the game.
It makes me feel like I'm useless and I can't do anything.
We're just kids.
We're just here to have fun.
Let us do what we love.
Just let kids be kids.
You know Territorians are a hardy bunch. Hats off to you. Whether you're new or you've been here forever, we know what the weather can throw at us. That's why TIO Home Insurance covers your home for cyclone, storm surge and flood. It's good to know. And with the only contact centre, claims team and assessors based in the Territory, we're here when you need us most. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Join football legend Sam Kekovich and our special sport luncheon, January 23rd at the Waratah Clubhouse. Tickets are $110 per person and includes meal and drinks package. Bookings are now open, so get in quick.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
You're watching AFL&T's coverage of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium here in Darwin. I'm Will Zwar, with me is Damien Hale, and it's round 14 action, Waratah versus Palmerston. Waratah currently holding a 32-point lead. It's 11 goals 6 to 6 goals 4, so 72 to 40. And Damien, it's been two pretty different quarters. First quarter was pretty balanced, and Waratah snuck out in that second, didn't they?
Yeah, TARS just seemed a little bit cleaner, better work rate. I just thought that their work rate, particularly away from stoppages and the set pieces, out of the middle of the ground, boundary throw-ins, and that's just effort, effort and attitude really when you get to those parts of the ground, and it's a 50-50. The umpires have the ball, and I just thought Waratahs were better at that. So, both sides kicked 4 goals, I think, in the first quarter, and then TARS kicked 7 in that second quarter with a bit of a slight breeze going to the right of screen. Palmerston hit back late with a couple of late goals for themselves to keep them in touch, but 32 points down the pie, so it's all there in front of them to do. But and they'll be kicking with a slight breeze now to the right of screen in the third quarter. But certainly this is this is the quarter they really need to stand up the Pies and to try to get a bit closer by three-quarter time. Well,
yeah, they're definitely up against it, and they'll have to do it short, man. I saw Heath Morgan-Morris early in that second quarter. Was just in the hands of the medicos behind the bench, so doesn't look like he's out there. Looks like he might even have headed off to hospital. So,
it's just going to make it harder, isn't it?
Doesn't make it any easier, does it?
Yeah. No, Waratahs seem to, they're a little bit fitter, and basically, probably where both sides sit on the ladder. Waratahs have won 4 of their last 5. Palmerston have lost 4 of their last 5, so it's sort of indicative of how the game's gone, really. And Waratahs will be, and Palmerston are hoping to get something out of the season, and certainly 3-9 at the moment. They'd be looking at some good efforts in the second part of the year to try to win a few more games and finish the season strongly. And obviously Waratahs, I think Waratahs, anything less than a premiership probably won't be satisfactory to them. I think that they're a side that when at full strength, obviously they've got a few out like everyone at the moment, but when they're at full tilt, they're a side that can push the top 2 teams in Waratahs, in Nightcliff and St Mary's. So, Waratahs had a big win over Wanderers last week as well. So, I think that they're. Did they play Wanderers last week?
No.
Who did they beat? They beat Wanderers recently, though, didn't they?
They beat Darwin Buffs last week.
Yeah, they beat Buffaloes. Yeah, pretty easily. So I think anything short of a premiership for Waratahs would be, wouldn't be a successful season at all.
No, not at all. And obviously they're sort of right up there in those top 3 teams competing for it. Palmerston, meanwhile, look, early in the season, I thought they were almost pushing for that, that 5th spot up with Southern Districts, and then I think they faded away against that game, which would have sort of separated those two. They've since then dropped to 7th, and a win-loss record of 3-9 isn't what they'd want, but it's where they find themselves. Look, they've got something to play for today. They're not up against the strongest TARS side they'll face all year, and they're definitely a chance here. They're up against it with a 32-point margin to overcome, but let's see what they can do. It'll be Goodwin on Dennis in the ruck again. Been a fascinating duel. Dennis probably better around the ground, but Goodwin better in these centre hit-outs, and it's Dennis who gets that one. Ewell looks to get the first touch, but it's Collis who gets the hands off the back flank. Ball now comes into Stevens. Dennis gets a cheeky little hit-out, and there's a lot of intensity to start off this second half. Collis now with the first pure possession as well, or pure disposal, I should say. Kicks it down the line. Dennis now trying to get a free kick, and he does. Looks ahead of him. Plays on. Kicks it long and high. And Cooper was the target there, but it's been worked well over the line by the TARS defenders.
Yeah, good defensive punch there from Collis. Committed to it and whacked that one out of play. So this is where Waratahs, I think, have been really strong at these parts of the game. Particularly around the ball ups and the stoppages. They've just dominated. Look out. We're going to have to recall that one. Just about sat it on his own head there, the boundary umpire.
I think that's the furthest
I've never seen one come
run all day in one motion.
And the little fella whack it up there, son. Oh, yeah, that's a better one.
Better. Goodwin doesn't mind that one. He gets the double-handed palm out there. Eddie Betts at the bottom there. Try to get a kick away. One of the umpires has seen something from way left of field, and it's a free kick going the way of Waratah. So it comes to Bowd. He goes cross goal, finds Griffiths. Griffiths keeps pushing it out there. Now with O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer looking down the wing. Don't know if his umpire's called play on there. Looked like he'd marked it, but he hasn't. Back to O'Dwyer. He now goes inboard to Collis.
Loose Tars players everywhere, and Collis has spotted out Froggy Davey.
Probably the one bloke in the centre square there not wearing red and white. And Tars player at the bottom of the pack, Froggy Davey again with it. Gets it out to Wharfie. Wharfie plays on, hands it over the top. Palmerston now moving forward with a lot more confidence. Cooper trying to work it there, but it's worked over the boundary line.
Couple of turnovers there from both sides. Better intensity by Palmerston at the start of this quarter, though, Will. It's certainly what they needed. They needed to come out and hit the ground hard and hit the contest hard, and they've done that. So hopefully they can sustain it.
Goodwin again with the hit out. And there'll be a free kick, I think, for a dangerous tackle there going Waratah's way. It'll be Munro. Goes to Cree. Cree kicks it very wide to the ruckman. Can't take the mark, and it'll bounce over the boundary line.
Get it back over here, fellas. It's much easier to commentate on this side of the ground.
I'll second that, Damien.
Yeah, it's a long way out there.
We'll see what we can do. So Dennis on Goodwin in the ruck yet again. Goodwin punches it forward. Palmerston there to mop it up. Froggy Davey, with his lethal left, kicks it forward, and it rolls over the boundary on that forward flank. They're getting the ball, but it's not just about possession. They need to hit them on the scoreboard as well and really start to hit them where it hurts. It's all well to have the momentum, but you can't just rest on that, can you, Haley?
No, they need some goals. Desperately need to get the ball forward and kick some goals. That's what their problem is on the scoreboard.
So now out to Tomer. He kicks it forward. Arnold is the target. Doesn't take the mark, but the big fella is... paddock of space. What can he do?
Big plug.
He's got Magro far. He's got Rich near. He goes to Rich, and then Rich goes over the top to Magro.
Oh, they could have. Oh, Magro's dropped it.
Oh,
sense of occasion, Magro. Just wanted to make it more difficult for himself. Loves kicking a goal.
To call as well.
Yeah, the big fella, he doesn't mind giving them off. That's Palmerston probably a little bit unlucky there. They had sort of most of the field position early in this third quarter, and Waratahs have just gone bang, 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 and goal.
And if you're out there wearing number 1, you've kicked 3 goals. It's 3 for Magro and 3 for Justin Cooper down the other end.
Once again, good work ethic. There's the Waratahs players just pushing that little bit harder.
And it's the danger. It's probably one of his strengths for Tatupu, but the danger of matching up on him. You look at him and you think he's not gonna do too much away from goal. So I'll leave him push up away from him. And if they get the run on and they get him out the back like they did there, it's an extra play they've got in their forward 50 to work with. Wilkins, in fact, it's Dennis who takes it pretty cleanly out of the ruck and throws it onto his right. Uga was the target, couldn't take the mark. Worked back to Collis. Collis now goes out. It's kicked forward by Bowd. He finds his man in Doint. Doint goes into Cree. A great kick from Cree. Palmerston could work it out here. We've got a man on in Lambton. Lambton takes the mark on the half-back flank and they're out of the danger zone. It's got Wharf making a short lead, but he doesn't like that. Goes a bit further longer. It'll be Ugal the target and Waylon Davey out the back trying to mop up. But a good fist comes in and it goes over the boundary line. It's good work from Tars there. Umpire to throw it in on this near side wing. Much more preferable, isn't it, Haley?
Yeah, it's easier from here to see who's doing well.
Anchors should be the recipient, but there's a free kick pulled out for a push. And it'll go the way of Robbie Barty. So no one on the mark. He plays on and runs forward. Not the cleanest kick. Found his forward in Arnold, but he couldn't take it cleanly, and Froggy Davey now leaves the defensive 50. Ball now with Collis as they've turned it over. And he kicks it to a 2-on-1. The one's Plugger. Plugger doesn't take the mark. Ball comes to Stevens.
You can't call him Plugger. I just said it once.
And Doint on that far flank now.
I just hope he doesn't take offence. He's 197 centimetres and 105 kilos, which I reckon they've trimmed a little bit. He's put a bit on since I've just Google searched him. And, yeah, the big guy. Rugby league background as well. Played at St Kilda City in 2018, and he was also the Melbourne Storm had signed him to a rookie deal. So I hope that's the same bloke.
He's got the ball now. He hands it over the top, and Tars are getting closer to home. Stevens now picks it up. In fact, it's Wilkins out there. Betts does his magic and ends up with the ball.
Oh,
and again, an umpire standing about 75 metres away has pulled a free kick out.
Will, you've got to stop attacking him. All right? You'll get a strongly worded email from the league during the week if you keep this up.
Just calling
it's
the
been
game.
Relentless. Oh, what have they done here? What's happened?
It's a 50-metre penalty. Looks like it'll bring the Tars up here to about 20 metres out from goal. Pretty tight angle.
All right.
They won't mind it from there. They've been pretty accurate today. 12 goals, 6.
A lot of finger pointing going on out there.
Where's Joshy?
It's like when somebody's misfielded for the Indian cricket side. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's pointing in different directions. There's been a drop catch or something. No, he's missed it. All right.
Not happy with that
one. Might have got it. Someone might have yelled out that's what it deserved. So we'll start again.
So after a pretty odd minute of footy, we'll be back now, courtesy of Owen Davey at fullback. Plays on, gets that extra meterage. Now goes out to Eddie Betts, but over the top of his head. Now comes into Arnold. He's been pretty good today. Hands it to a man under pressure. Now with Magro. Looks like he was taken high, and the umpire will pay it.
Yeah, the tackle rode up there. Magro's only a little fella. Initially, I think the tackle was fine, but then it sort of come up off the football and ended up taking him high. I think he's still got a rat's tail. I can see. Is that a rat's tail? There's a bit of remnants of that mullet, the dirty mullet.
Is it a home job?
Yeah, I reckon it is. I reckon it is.
Just that
he's all business at the front. He's all business at the front, and then he's got that little rat tail down the back.
See if it works for him. He's got 3 today, and he makes that
He's got 4. He doesn't miss, does he?
No.
The East Perth champ does well. He's been a good pickup for Waratahs.
And takes his tally to 30 goals this year. He's leading their goal kicking, and he's closing in on Jackson Calder, who I think is now about 9 goals clear on 39, depending on how many he kicks over at Nightcliff today.
Yeah, very good player, Jackson Calder. Sort of, I think he's the barometer for St Mary's. He's the guy that they go to in the big games to kick their score for them.
Yeah, when he's on, they're on.
Yeah.
And when he's on, he's not just on, he's 10 goals and 24 touches on.
Yeah. Yeah, he does very well. So that'll be an important matchup for one of the Nightcliff defenders out there this afternoon.
Could be young Ryan Nyas taking it up. But back to the game at hand, and it's Waratah with a 45-point lead now, pretty commanding. 85-40. Umpire balls it up, and it's Hollanby on Wilkins. Wilkins gets the tap. Magro taps it forward to himself now. Gets tackled. And it's Rich who gets the hands out to Stevens. Stevens runs inside 50, goes on goal. And the big fella to Tupu couldn't take the mark. It's a 3-on-2. Palmerston would want to make
sure. Got to turn the speed to Poot.
Anchors on the left. Probably a bit
Putu,
too cute.
he's got a little bit of speed, eh? Just over that, even just in that contest there, getting, putting some pressure on out the front of the goals there. He does have a turn of pace.
Yeah, he's
big man.
Agile, very agile.
Kiwi lad, eh?
Kiwi lad.
Yeah, he's a Kiwi lad.
Palmerston out of the back line now. Work it to the wing. Jed is the target. Uses his body well, but doesn't hold the mark. Tars are away again. Now with Bowd, kicks it to the hot spot.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't take the mark, unfortunately.
Looked like it was like half a hanger there. A bit of Wayne Carey sort of all chest mark. Didn't quite hold on to it. Well, it's got scrappy, hasn't it, Will?
It has. Ethan Little now. Goes inboard but doesn't find a target. Instead he turns it over. And Griffiths kicks inside the forward 50. Gee, that was a heavy hitting
Good contest. Both players went hard then.
Cole stands up. I know he's a bit ginger, but he's up and about. Collis now with the ball. Goes inside 50. There's a man on in Rich. He looks forward now. I think he's been listening to you, Haley.
Well, I don't know if he listens that much. Oh, he's sort of a bit torn at the moment. He doesn't know whether to turn his back or not.
I think he turned and
we're getting in his head.
Tatupu was at full forward, not looking the right way either.
He's been a good player, Rich, again today for the Tars. As the season gets towards its ultimate climax, Will, I think that percentage could play a role in settling the top three teams. So at the moment, I think there's 4 sides fighting out for the top 3 spots. He kicks like a half-back flanker, though, I must say, when he's shooting at goal. It reminds me of myself.
He had a good week last week, 5 goals. But apart from that, he's had not the best season in front. Not someone you want kicking for your life on goal, I don't think.
No.
Doint didn't take the mark there. Followed up with a tackle and caused the turnover. Bowd gets it to Doint. Doint then gets it into Arnold. Arnold hands it in to Crocker. Crocker kicks it to the lead. And that's a good mark there from Corey Rich. And this time he plays on.
Well done. That's better.
And that's who
this guy who you want to have kicking for goal. I was trying to think of somebody, be Magro. Kyle Emery comes to mind as a dead-eye dick when it comes to shooting at goal. But, so as I was saying, percentage could be a part in settling the top 3, which gives you the double chance. And I think at the moment it's out of Waratah, St Mary's, Tigers and Wanderers are fighting it out for those top 3 finish. So I think Waratahs today would be wanting to finish off this game with a really solid, strong win and pump their percentage up.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, they're right in the hunt for it. I think it'd be interesting to see what happens with St Mary's. Obviously, they've been docked those 4 points from last year's final series as well. I think that might make them a bit more hungry to make sure that if they do get into a position where they'll regret it, they won't blame it on their percentage. And I think they've got the healthiest percentage at the moment, St Mary's. But they're all hovering up about the Waratahs on 160%, and I think St Mary's are the biggest at the moment with about 175 or 180.
Yep.
So all pretty close. Back to play at hand now, and it's Andrade for Palmerston with possession, and he gets a free kick in the middle of the ground. It's a pretty open forward line. Eddie Betts is calling for it at full forward. There's a bit too much distance between him and the ball carrier, so he goes out to the flank. He gets a free kick as well. And look at the Tars flocking back. There's about 8 of them in that defensive 50.
Yeah, they defend well. Their structures are sound, Tars. They get back and they don't concede.
Goes to Betts. Good mark on the lead.
They don't concede big scores very often, Waratah. So they usually keep the opponents under that 10 sort of goals.
Yeah, it's sort of one of the, the unsung heroes of their team is their whole back line there.
Yeah.
Pretty, they fly under the radar. You wouldn't necessarily know them all by name, but there goes Eddie Betts. It's just a behind, unfortunately. Looked all right. But here comes that defence now, and Collis, who's played on half-back today, has been a good addition for them.
Good user of the football, Collis.
Now works out to Munro.
Munro's been good as well.
Yeah, he was very good in that first quarter. He's sort of dropped off a bit in this third, but very serviceable today. Now comes in, I think it was Griffiths working it forward. Stevens is in there as well. Punches it over the top. Umpire gives a free kick to Palmerston for kicking in danger.
their running support's been good today, the Tars. They seem to have somebody there all the time, and their handball, their linking with their handball's been pretty impressive, actually. I was surprised. I didn't think they were that clean around the contest and their linking up through their hands. I've been surprised by that today.
They do seem like one of the fitter teams as well, which is, important for the game up here. A lot of the time you don't get a clean game with, stops and starts. It's just continuous play. So
this sort of stuff now.
Yeah.
This sort of stuff where they're just running, they're giving the first give, which has been, impressive. And they're not. There's no one hogging the ball. There's nobody, thinking that they can do it all themselves. If somebody makes the effort to push past, and push support, they give them the ball. So, there's some really good team elements that I've noticed today from the Tars team.
Tom Thomas just kicked it out on the full-on goal, and I think it's Cole who's kicked it to Cooper, who's again just edged it a bit too far. It's out on the full, so it'll be a Tars kick in from about 80 metres out, way too far out, but they're in a dangerous position. Interesting mark there. It's paid off from Toma. He sort of held back and used his body. Looks to go to Collis. Wharf lucky not to give away a free kick on the protected zone, I reckon.
Oh.
And player there unlucky to not be paid a mark for Waratah. I thought he had a good pair of hands on it. Now O'Dwyer goes inside 50 again. To Tupu, crashed the pack. And he lays a very big tackle. So it'll be a free kick going Palmerston's way.
It's a Little, though. Ethan Little would have felt the whole 120 kilos of Tupu on him then.
Oh, you've just added 15 kilos in 5 minutes, hey?
Yeah, well, 105, I doubt it.
He's not liking either of us at the moment, is he?
He's a good size. He's a big boy.
Here comes Crocker, kicks it in, and he finds Jaden Magro in the middle of about 6 teammates. So I don't think he was ever in doubt to take that one cleanly.
Yeah, Magro's not likely to hand this one off when you're the best kick at goal in the club. Go back and kick the goal.
Stutter in his run up. Maybe that's the key. He's happy with that one, so it's 5 for him.
It's 5, yeah.
To go with his 5 in round 1 against.
He likes playing the Pies.
He does.
Big shout out over in Cairns to a mate of mine who's been locked down for a week with COVID. AFL NT Life member Stewie Williams has been running his business from the couch. I don't even know if he goes up to his room, but yeah. He FaceTimes me from his couch. So, Stewie, I know you get out of lockdown tomorrow. So, hopefully you can enjoy Sunday after a week of being talking to yourself and ringing people and annoying me.
And in the meantime, enjoy the footy.
Enjoy the footy. I know he'll be tuned in. He loves the territory footy. He's always got a little bit of advice for everyone on what should be happening. So, I'm sure he's tuned in over in Cairns. So, good luck tomorrow, Stu, when you get out at 10:27. Apparently the time is.
So it's a 53-point margin here in Waratah's favour. Palmerston have done okay to stem the bleeding, but unfortunately haven't added anything to the scoreboard yet. Could this be their opportunity? They get a run on forward. Cooper lays a tackle. Froggy Davey in there, but he hits his own man and runs past the ball. And away go Waratah again. A bit too easy. Arnold takes the mark. 49 out from goal. Might be beyond his range by the time he kicks it.
Just get it on, son.
There's a few players calling for it. Just get it to the top of the square, get it to the hot spot.
Yeah, just had to wheel then and just go. Just sit it up for Tupu or kick over his head. No.
Tupu can't take the mark.
Kept it in.
Be Rich trying to crumb it. Fumbling it in front of him. Goes back to Magro. Also under a bit of pressure. Kicks across goal.
Great discipline,
Centres it.
Magro. Great team play there, wasn't it? Didn't blaze away. I think that's Abe Anchors.
It is Abe Anchors who line
Red
up
boots.
Pretty, I don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but a handy position to have the ball in. And that just about puts Magro on top of the best on players leaderboard for me today at the moment, Haley.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been really good. You know, they've had plenty of hard workers. You know, he's been one of them. Oh, Anchors has hit the post.
Barely said a word and still managed to give him the commentator's curse. So Palmerston, 54 points up, play on, goes straight down the middle. Matty Dennis the target, doesn't take the mark. Eddie Betts tried to work it forward. And Tars again, they're away. Corey Rich takes the mark. Umpire allows it. Too easy for them. Didn't mind what Palmerston were trying to do. They're just, you know, sling it straight down the middle again. But they didn't really have anyone sort of holding back to stop it in case it, you know, came back the other way. And here they are again, standing on the mark with Corey Rich lining up for goal.
Yeah. Palmerston probably don't deserve to get a whopping. They've been a bit better than that, but they're going to have to really dig in deep now to stop it from happening in this last quarter.
Yeah, I think now they've
Tars are full of running.
A lot to prove. Corey Rich.
He's kicked it. Yeah, well done, Rich. He's
slenderest of margins.
Yeah. No, look, as I said, Palmerston, their first quarter was really good, really competitive. I thought they hung in the second and they fought back to give themselves a bit of hope at half time. But you know, Waratahs are a very fit, disciplined, hard-running team. And I've just been impressed today with their link-up, the Waratahs guys. I know they've got a number of their A-graders out, but they seem to have good depth running through the club. I know that there's young players in the 18s are pushing up and playing in the Div 1 and really are focused on playing senior football, and that's what it's all about. And I think in Waratahs, in the last 20 or so years, they haven't won a flag since Billy Martin coached them in the late 90s, and you know, I think that they're really on the right track this year to make an impression in the finals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these two teams out there are the two with the longest premiership drought, if I'm not mistaken. So,
yep.
You know, you'd think they'd both be equally hungry, but on field it just looks like a bit of a different story. Is Bowd there works the ball out of the back line for Waratah.
I think you touched on it too, Willie, about Waratah's back six, underrated, underestimated, not spoken about much, but they don't get many big scores kicked on them.
No, here they are, and Palmerston aren't one of the powerhouses this year, but keeping them to 41 points at three-quarter time. As you'd be pretty happy with that. But we head into three-quarter time now. It's 15 goals, 11, 101. Waratah leading Palmerston on 6 goals, 541, a 60-point margin. We will be back after this short break to bring you the final quarter.
You know what great mates Territorians can be. Always willing to lend a hand, or something else. So if they ever ask to borrow your car, as you know they will, you can say yes, knowing that your TIO comprehensive car insurance has them covered. Same as you. It's good to know. So get a quote today. TIO. We're for Territorians.
Kazali's Palmerston Club. Come and check out our cafe, open 7 days a week. Our kids club is open Wednesday to Sunday nights, including weekend lunchtime. Enjoy hot meals with nightly specials at the bistro or cold drinks at the sports bar. Feeling lucky? Have a go at the latest machines in our gaming lounge or grab your mates for a round of pool. Family gatherings or casual meetings, we have something for everyone. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
Time to escape, cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
You know Territorians are a hardy bunch. Hats off to you. Whether you're new or you've been here forever, we know what the weather can throw at us. That's why TIO Home Insurance covers your home for cyclone, storm surge and flood. It's good to know. And with the only contact centre, claims team and assessors based in the Territory, we're here when you need us most. TIO, we're for Territorians.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium. You're watching AFL&T's coverage of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season. Round 14 action between Waratah and Palmerston. And as we head into the final quarter, it's a 60-point margin. Waratah leading 15 goals, 11, 101 to Palmerston, 6 goals, 5, 41. I'm Will Zwar, with me is Damien Hale. Damien, what can we hope for out of this last quarter? I don't think we'll see a reversal of the leader.
No, I don't think so. And I think, Palmerston are playing for pride now. You're 10 goals down at three-quarter time. You're playing for a bit of pride in the shirt. So, I'd like to see them fight this one out, possibly win the last quarter if they can.
Dennis gets the first hit out for Palmerston, but only finds a Waratah midfielder. Looks to go forward, but again, it's a turnover to Yule. He goes forward, and it's another turnover. So no one can get a clean possession. There we go. Off half back, it was bowed out to Toma. He goes forward now, and Corey Rich hands it forward. Now with Stevens, gets around one, hands it across to Joel Stevens. Hands it out to Rich. Rich very tight, kicks to the top of the square. And A-Bankers takes the mark, plays on, kicks the goal. Easy as you like, and it's the first on the board in the last quarter to Waratah.
Good use of the body there from Tupu. Just held his opponent out.
Yep.
So Abe, and good discipline again from Rich. We've seen that a couple of times today from Waratahs where, in the last quarter, I think it was Magro centred the ball rather than blazing away from a pocket. Only Eddie Betts will kick those ones. So, good discipline there from Rich that time. Hit it to the hot spot, knew that Tupu would be there. Tupu did the team thing again, which has been really impressive, the way he's brought his teammates in and he's protected his teammates with his shepherding. And he made it very easy for Ankers to kick a goal.
Absolutely, and I think when you got a target like that and you're a defender, you almost think, it's going to go to him every time. And what he's done there is let Abe Ankers get a cheeky one under the bottom. So Dennis gets the ball down, but Goodwin, the other ruckman, will crumb it best and first, and he gets another touch out of it. Gets it to Ankers again. In fact, it was Crees, he's kicked it forward. And Magro's gotten a free kick in the forward line for a push in the back.
Line up for number 6.
Liam Flanagan gives away the free kick there.
Yeah, a little bit in the contest, I don't know. It was probably there. But
probably his toughest shot today if he goes for it. He definitely does have a rat's tail on there, Haley.
Yeah, I spotted that. Admittedly, we got a monitor. I would never have seen it. But yeah, he's just that last remnants of the party boy, is it? Just the last bit left for Magro.
So he walks in and he likes it.
6. That's a half dozen for him. They get around him. Yeah, once again, Cree, the midfield's been great, and the big guy in the middle, been very impressed with Thomas Goodwin today. He's taken it up to Matt Dennis, and as I said earlier, they're totally different style of ruckman. I think Goodwin's more in the old galloping gasometer, Mick Nolan mould, or a Damien Monkhurst type of ruckman. But he has just persevered with it and just continued to crack in at the centre bounces. And I think he's probably got the better of Matt on this occasion.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably didn't expect it coming in, but I'd say, Goodwin's definitely can hold his head high after today's efforts.
And Matty's first run too, so he'll be better for the run next week.
So here they go again. Ankers now. It is Ankers this time.
Yeah, Cree and Ankers have just had it on. Both of them will be on a drip tonight with leather poisoning.
Yeah, Corey Rich, another one who's had plenty of it. He did a cheeky 1-2 with Ankers. Ankers goes back to Crocker. Wasn't a clean one. He might go back to Rich. No, he goes inboard.
Well, they're trying to bring the Palmerston side into it.
Waylon Davey now. Almost tripped. I think he was tripped, but didn't get a free kick. Not a clean kick to Rich, but he'll take possession. Goes inboard. Ankers takes the mark. Look at the height difference on him and Dennis.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a clean kick, which is not great for them, as Perry Jr. kicks across goal.
Yeah, well done by Mishai Perry Jr. there.
Now with Neville Jetta, and he's got Cooper by himself on that far wing. He's got Yule inboard, and he's got Wharf a bit further up. Probably picked the risky option of the two, but it's paid off, and he's given a 50-metre penalty. So Ryan Wharf, last year's Rising Star winner, will line up for a goal.
So he must have ruled it was a late contact after the mark.
Yeah, I think
unnecessary.
That might have been what it was. I can't think of anything else it might have been. Didn't look particularly late to me, but there was a bit of a split-second delay between it, I think. And easy as you like, Wharf gets it through. So they move to 7 goals, 5-47.
Yeah, good play there by young Mishai Perry Jr. Just coming across the back there, across half-back and using the ball well. That's what you want from your young players, just an up-and-comer, probably only still in his teens. And, his father, Mishai Sr., was a champion player for Wanderers End for Palmerston. And the young fella is he's lined up on the wing over here. So that's the future of Palmerston Footy Club. There's heaps of kids out there. Palmerston needs to create a destination club for themselves, for all the kids in Palmerston wanting to go and play for the Magpies, and that's the challenge for the Magpies, to have those young kids in Palmerston wanting to engage with them as their chosen football club.
Neville Jetta now gets a kick inside forward 50. I think it was Griffiths who copped a Falcon there. And Collis has thrown it on the boot. It's gone out on the full.
Big Goodwin's coming for a well-earned break with Cree.
Wilkins, the makeshift ruckman, heading on in his place, and Barty heading on for Cree.
Well, Wilkins was actually the ruckman, wasn't he? Start of the year?
Start of the year. We caught a few games. I think it was against T, where he was sort of the main ruckman along with Tom Graham. Tom Graham obviously not on today's side, but yeah, good to see they've got players like Tom Goodwin to rely upon when they need him.
Nice attack on the ball there by Liam Flanagan. Coming through there for the Magpies.
And kicks forward to the big fella.
It's a boo.
What can he do? Tunnel balls it through. I think he thought Rich would keep running. He didn't quite, and he shepherded off, or he shepherded on the ball. Sorry, Froggy Davey kicks inboard to Neville Jetta. Wasn't clean. Here comes Anchors, throws on the right, rolls it round. Has that bounced through? No, it's a behind.
Well done there by the Palmerston player. I think touched it, threw himself at it. Good desperation.
Murray Liddell there on the full back line.
Last line of defence.
Yep. Froggy Davey, he's got his nephew Waylon calling for it a long way out on this back flank. I think he'll go for him. He will. No, not just yet. Goes to Little. Waylon again trying to make himself a target. Not a great kick, but it finds Lambton. Lambton now goes across the ground. Lennon Marlin goes to Cole. In fact, it's Hollenby. Now with Wharf. Wharf back to Marlin. Play slowed up a lot this past minute, but here comes Wharf with a bit of pace. Kicks it forward. Eddie flew but couldn't take the mark. Neville Jetta at the fall of it, and it's two ex-AFL players on 5 tars, and no matter how good their careers were, they couldn't quite work it out there, could they?
No, there was about 600 AFL games between them, or 500, but numbers win out.
Barty now goes to the top of the square. Rich was the target, couldn't take the mark, bounced off his chest. Works it towards the boundary line.
Bit of sting's gone out of the game. It's been a pretty commanding performance from the Tars today. These are the type of games you can turn up, and if you go through the motions, they can become a real arm wrestle. And to their credit, Waratahs have turned up today and played really well, and will deserve a very solid 10, 12, could end up a 12, 13 goal win. Been very good at these parts of the game. It'll be interesting to see if they can manufacture a goal or something here.
Doesn't look like it'll be the case as they work it out. Eddie Betts try to take possession. Palmerston still trying to work it forward. Collis now finds himself with the ball. Munro, I think, had attack on it, and now Alwyn Davey comes out of the back line quickly, finds Waylon Davey.
It's just no one in there forward.
And has he got a 50 metre? No. Umpire tells him to stay where he is. Goes out to Eddie Betts now. Betts goes forward to Wharf. Wharf's been pretty impressive today. One of the few for Palmerston who I've...
He's been good.
Yeah, I think he'd be among their best players today for sure. Is Palmerston again trying to work it forward, but just outnumbered. And you look in their forward line now, and there's 4 players in there against about 7 or 8
Well, when they got that free kick there to Waylon Davey downfield, there was no one in the forward half of the ground. So, then it's if you're going to roll out of your forward line, then you've got to really gut run hard to get back in. And unfortunately, there was no options, and they were just sadly outnumbered. Waratahs worked hard to get him back.
Good spoil there from Jackson Cole, another one from Palmerston, who I think can hold his head high. Despite the scoreline, which at the moment reads 79 points, 114. No, that's not right. 114 to 47. It's not 79 points, but it's pretty close. So we'll have another throw in here. A ball up, sorry. Forward flank. Wilkins on Dennis. Wilkins gets the tap. Anchors pretty smooth there. Collis was tackled by Wolf, who, again, he's just trying to show some desperation there. And he gets a free kick. Young player already sort of commanding his teammates what to do for him.
He does. He's a goer, isn't he?
He is, absolutely.
He's kept having a crack all day.
Went for Stafford, but Stafford, he's earned himself the free kick. Umpire calls advantage.
Just haven't seen enough of Stafford today.
Lennon Marlin has a shot on goal and straight over the umpire's head.
I think, with Daniel Stafford, it's always, the challenge is trying to work out where you want to play him, whether you're going to play him deep, and then the ball, run the risk that the ball's not going to get to him, or do you push him up the centre half forward early on in games, get him in the game, and give you a target across half forward, and then look to push him deeper as the game goes on. So I've seen him play both roles really well, so that's a challenge for the coaches at Palmerston to work out where the best fit for him is. But certainly, I like to see him deep in the goal square, but if the ball's not getting there, you might as well get him up the ground and have him as your target, when they lower their eyes and they've got him at centre half forward to kick to. So, good work from Palmerston. They're hanging in there. They're continuing to fight this one out.
They've kicked 2 goals this quarter, reduced the margin to 61 points. So it's not going to be pretty either way, but if they can add a few goals and a bit of pride to the jumper, and they'll walk away with something. Is here comes Cooper. He gets a free kick, does he?
No.
He's giving it away, and he's giving a 50 away as well.
He's been pinged for tapping the ball and not taking possession. Pinged him for a throw, and then somebody said something or kicked the ball away or something's happened. And does that good work for that last goal for Palmerston. Ooh, it's an interesting kick.
Munro's hit the post with that one. Wheeling it through, but couldn't quite get it the whole way. Marlin now to kick in. Who's also, he's been lively today. Again, come into it sort of a bit too late. That first quarter, Palmerston were right on their tail and even leading, looking like they'd make a game of it. But that second and third quarter just blew out. And unfortunately, they're lapsing in concentration again as Collis intercepts, kicks forward, not a great kick. Anchors, who's been on fire this last quarter, running it out better than anyone.
One of the things with Waratahs this year, that they've been very good at just punishing sides. If teams don't run with them, or they don't, and once they get on top, they can really hurt sides through their scoreboard pressure. They just kick a lot of goals, so they've got plenty of avenues to goal, and they don't mind putting them on and burying sides.
Yeah, and they probably missed a couple in that third quarter, but when you're 10 goals up and you're still applying scoreboard pressure, as minor as it might be, you're right, they have just made sure that if teams make mistakes, they make them pay for it.
And what we need to see from Waratahs, and what I'm waiting to see before I make your call on them, is when they kick 15 goals against the St Mary's or a Nightcliff. That's what I think everyone's waiting to see them in that type of game.
Yeah, big crunch win against a big-time opponent. Eddie Betts now goes inbound to Stafford, and a bit too lazy with his mark there. He'll take it. He'll roll around on his right, kicks it to the top of the square for Cooper. Cooper flies. No, he doesn't, and it's tapped through by O'Dwyer.
Yeah, a bit of a fumble there, a bit of fatigue for big Stafford.
Yeah, and just looked like a pretty regulation mark and probably didn't give it the respect it deserved, and he's turned what could have been a shot on goal into a rushed attempt for his teammate. There's a good mark there from Brandon Ugle.
He's a goer, this bloke. He's got some little bits of his game that you'd wish he didn't have, like little niggle, and he doesn't mind if there's a silly free kick to give away. Ugle will give it away. But, geez, he's got some other tricks. He's just tough. He's a tough player.
Crocker now with the ball.
Straight off half-back you'd put him.
Goodwin takes the mark and keen to go, so he gives it to Gooch. Gooch hands it over the top to Munro. Munro back to Gooch. Gooch drops it.
I love the Gooch.
And now he goes to the wing.
Nick O'Reilly, one of Nick O'Reilly's favourite players is the Gooch.
Magro running back with a flight. Pretty
Number 7,
brave
Stan.
mark.
Oh, no.
Kicks it forward.
I wanted him. I've got him in me multi to kick 7.
They're looking to be generous. They're looking to their team and who else they want to add to the scoreboard today. But it will be Munro, who's yet to.
Well, Munro just hit the post from in front, so I don't know why Magro's done this.
Give him another chance.
You'd be sending the runner out to Magro. I'd be sending the runner out.
Go back and kick 7.
Yeah, you've go back and kick 7.
You're nearly in reach of Calder.
That one spun a bit better by Munro, and he's missed it again. All right, I blame Magro for that.
So Dennis, the target, takes a mark.
Hasn't taken too many today, Big Matty. One of his real strengths is his marking.
Goes out to Yule. Didn't favour him all that well, and Arnold gets a fist to it and goes out of bounds.
Recently, the Diamond Valley, or the Northern League it's called now, had their top 20 players of the decade, and Matt Dennis came in at number 1. So that's a fair reflection of how they feel about him down in one of the strongest metro comps in Melbourne. Matty Dennis, the number 1 player in the Diamond Valley over the last decade. So well done to Matt for that achievement.
Yep, plenty of accolades to that.
Oh, there's nearly every AFL player who retires goes and has a run in the Diamond Valley. You know, big money teams down there, and your Heidelbergs and these type Bunduras and these type of teams.
He's just taken a pretty clever mark there as well.
Yeah.
Sort of behind the back.
He'll be worth coming to watch next week for sure. And he's put a corp in.
He's putting on a show for us, Haley. Eddie nearly went for a fly.
Cooper.
Goes out the back. Collis gets it to Crocker. Crocker to Bowd. Bowd now looks to Magro, and he finds him. Magro plays on, maybe when he shouldn't have, but he finds Rich out on that far flank. He goes back with his eyes forward this time, Haley. Has a shot on goal.
I don't like to take accolades, right? I don't. Is that Rich?
That's Corey Rich.
I reckon that he's listening.
Has he got a...
No, absolutely. Somebody's got in his ear, or they've watched the tape of me going off about this, and I'll continue to go off about it because it's not a good look from a footballer to turn his back on the play and walk back, unless you're Tony Lockett or you're Gary Ablett or Jason Dunstall. And so I'll keep on about it, but he's a very good player, and I think that he gives them a different dimension. He can run through the midfield. I know that he's played down in the VFL. He can play on the wing. Just a very good player.
And he's definitely worked in his goal kicking as well. I think Ryan Ayres has gotten in his ear and said, those boys in the commentary box don't reckon you can kick goals. Go and prove them wrong.
Well, he's out there doing it. We're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you do. You playing the Divvy 2 still for Banks?
Giving it a go. Unfortunately, I missed this week's game. Got a bit of a hip niggle.
Geez, I'm glad it's not COVID, seeing I've been sitting in a meter next to you.
No COVID.
Triple vaxxed me.
Triple vaxxed as well. Anchors now, works it forward to Rich. He was outnumbered 2-on-1, and it'll be Stevens who is there to crumb it. Finally gets his hands on it. Goes to Munro. Munro gets through one, kicks it forward. And Corey Rich takes the mark. Umpire, I think, called play on. Handed it to Magro. Magro was tackled, so we'll have another ball up. So as we get closer towards the 20-minute mark of this round 14 clash here at TIO Stadium.
Get under that and play fair.
Munro kicks it to the top of the goal square. He's kicked it through. No, it's
nearly. It's a great effort there. It's from Arnold, was it?
I think it might have been, yeah. In full forward position there.
Kazitsky. Haven't called his name much today.
No, Harrison. I think he's sort of been moved to the back line for stages as well, just to give him another tall defender, and obviously with the big fella Tutupu coming in. They now go down the line, Palmerston do. Good mark there from Brandon Ugle. He's got player on up forward in Lambton.
I'd love to see the young fella from Nooka, young Silver, up there working underneath Tupu. Would be interesting.
Yeah. get the crumbs every time.
Yeah, get young Silver back. I don't know where he is. Get him back from Nooker. He's a good young player as well with heaps of leg speed.
Magro with the third effort now on Little, then on Ewell, then on Little again. Now Palmerston have got themselves in a bit of trouble. And Magro running into an open goal. Here we go, Dane.
Yeah, give it to Munro.
He kicks his 7th.
Yes, that's 7 for him. It's a good day out for the small forward. He has played a lot through the midfield today as well, but you know, he's one of those players, I suppose, if he's on and he's kicking goals, you leave him up forward, and if he isn't getting in the play, you play him through the midfield for a little while. Sort of similar to how Nightcliff played Cameron Islet at times. When Cam's on and he's taking his marks and kicking goals, they leave him up there, and if he's struggling to get into the game, they put him in the midfield and he makes a difference there. So that was another goal for Magro. So a good day out, 7 for him. And
the margin moves to 81 points here. I think the scoreboard's just waiting to catch up. Or is it a 75-point margin here?
4-7-4 and 4 goals in this last so far for Waratah. So they'd be pretty happy with their second quarter. They set it up through their 7 goals in the second quarter.
Waylon Davey with a mark now. Kick it from outside 50. Looks for his teammate. Not a great kick as Gooch came in over the top.
Good strong defender, Gooch.
Now Cooper trying to get his hands to it, but he can't. Bad tackle to the ground by Stafford. Now comes out. Crocker throws it on his left. Plenty of space. Marlon finds himself at the bottom. Kicks it forward, but Collis finds himself at the bottom of the ball.
It's been good again today, Dylan Collis.
He has.
He'd have to have a few Nichols votes, wouldn't he?
I think he might. You wonder how many his brother Will's taken off him when they've both been playing. And they do have a nice array of midfielders in there. Obviously, Magro can play in there, as we've touched on. Carroll and Turnbull, who aren't playing today, would have picked up plenty in that first half of the season as well. Cree's been good as well, and even Corey Rich on the wing.
They've got plenty of contributors.
Absolutely, yeah. Could be one of the years where there's just too many going for it. But as we know, that's not the medal they're after. They're going for that big trophy on the final day of the season.
Yeah, well, I think Waratahs, as I mentioned just before, I think Silver would be an addition that they could probably do with, getting him in the side. Kid from Nooker, he gives them that leg speed and pace up forward. Obviously, Brody Carroll will come straight back in. Turnbull, I'm not sure what's going on with him. So hopefully he's back at some stage. But yeah, they've got in the other Collis boy, Will Collis. So yeah, they've got a few to come back in still, Tars. So I think they're the real deal. But as I said, I'd like to see them play a full-strength St Mary's on a dry day, or a full-strength Nightcliff on a dry day out here at a 4:30, 5 o'clock game, and see how they go in that. We were going to get it when it got washed out, I think. Will, there was a game before Christmas
against St Mary's.
St Mary's and Tars, which was a washout. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see it, but that would have given us a better gauge.
So Kitch carries the ball without taking possession. Only gets it as far as Marlon. Marlon goes inboard. It's Andre who gets it in to Little. Little back to Marlon. Marlon to Ewell. Ewell inside forward 50, and Neville Jetta doesn't quite take the mark. It's play on. Barty gets it out only as far as Marlon, who, again, the yellow boots make him notable, but he's definitely come into the game the more it's gone on. He looks forward. Stafford makes the lead now. A great kick to him. And Collis volleys it up the ground and gets it courtesy of a handball. Finds Magro a bit far out from goal. Rich
out on his own again.
Pocket, he'll play on.
Oh, look, I think Palmerston they're outclassed today, obviously, but they kept trying. I think in the end, their effort was good. I don't think they gave up, which is a really good point for them, but they were certainly outclassed by a better Waratahs team.
Yeah, absolutely. In 65-point margin, look, at the end of the day, it's probably fair. They definitely hung in there for the first quarter, but Waratah was way too good after quarter time, and plenty of contributors. Obviously, Jaden Magro with 7 goals. Corey Rich ended up with 4, which is pretty handy. 2 each to Ankers and Arnold, as well as the big fella full forward.
75 in the end, I think it was.
75 points in the end.
Yeah.
Also saw goals to Thomas Thomer and Tom Goodwin. Palmerston was Coop with 3, Wolf with 1, Bugle with 1, and Yule, Marlon and Waylon Davey also chipping in with 1.
Well done to the players and the umpires and the league. Obviously difficult times, Will, with the COVID and the pandemic and all what's going on. So well done for the league and the club presidents and trying to work to keep this going, and all the guys that are out there contributing, and the umpires as well. So good luck to everyone to continue, and hopefully we can continue through and play some finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to speaking with you. Might not be next week with the rep game, but enjoy that one. And
we won't get a gig?
Maybe you will. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to get me and Hayley calling it for you. But if not, we'll see you.
They obviously don't pick it on talent, do they?
Pick it on availability, would you say?
I don't know how they pick it. I think Nick O'Reilly's got something to do with it.
Either way, we'll see you shortly. And thanks for joining us here for round 14 action of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season.